Well, everybody, we have made it to the last module of the semester, and I want to congratulate you for making it up to this point. It's really downhill from here. We do have a few more assignments to wrap up, but they shouldn't be too sort of exhausting, and I don't want it to be that kind of situation where you're just kind of panicking and you feel like you have a mountain of work. I really don't think this is a mountain. It looks like a mountain maybe because there's more words on this checklist than there have been on previous ones, but it's not too bad. All right, so let's talk about what we've got here. Most of you will be doing the unit plan modification assignment. I have something called unit plan modification or telepractice discussion. So this is my attempt at trying to provide different things for different students in this class, because most of you are going to be teachers in classrooms. If you're going to be a teacher in a classroom, if that's what your degree is about, if it's an education degree, do the unit plan modification. If you're going to be a speech-language pathologist, you can do the telepractice discussion. You may choose to do the unit plan modification even if you are an SLP. For example, if you're going to work in a school setting, speech-language pathologists in school settings are educators, and you do make lesson plans, and so that's an appropriate assignment for you. So I'll let you guys choose, if you're speech-language pathologists, which route you want to take. Just make sure, all of you, don't do both, okay? Just pick one, the one that applies to you. In the unit plan modification assignment, what you're going to basically do is search for unit, and by unit, my loose definition, now there's a blurred line between lesson plan and unit plan. You know, all experts don't quite agree on it, but my definition will be that it should take about 4 or more hours to implement. It could be 3 hours, it could be 5, it could be 10 hours to implement. That's fine. I just don't want it to be a 15-minute lesson, because there's not enough to talk about there. There's not enough to think about. It's not quite challenging enough. So pick a lesson that looks interesting to you, one that you think you could teach in the future, one that maybe you could see ways to improve, and learn from it. You know, Stephen King, in his book on writing, where he's teaching other people how to write, he says that he always learned just as much from the bad novels that he read as from the good. And so sometimes you can, that's actually not a bad exercise in my opinion, to go and look at a bad piece of instructional design. And that's what the purpose of this assignment is, for you to try to find ways to improve the unit plan that you see. What you're going to do then is you have a wiki page. Your wiki page is going to be set up, if you watch the video tutorial, for this exercise. And in setting it up, you're going to place the Understanding by Design standards onto your wiki page, and then you're just going to write notes in that last column. It's much less, it looks more daunting than it really is. You'll write notes in that last column, sort of critiquing the plan per the different standards in that Understanding by Design template. And then at the bottom, there's some questions that sort of challenge you to think about the technology use in that plan. If there is no use in that plan, I want you to think about ways in which it could be used sort of naturally to enhance the learning. That's not always easy, because sometimes plans, it may not be appropriate. So, but I want you to push yourself to try to think of some ways to do that. So that's sort of the cherry on top for unit planning, for Understanding by Design activities in this class. And then in terms of other things we've got going on, you want to finish up your final portfolio. You have a SWOT analysis in there. That's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I explain what that means in the instructions. But basically, you're going to reflect on, from this point forward, you and technology use in the classroom, or you and technology use in your career, if you're an SLP, for example. What are your strengths with regard to this idea? Your weaknesses? What are the opportunities available to you? What are the threats, those things that are sort of obstacles to you in using technology? And you're just going to kind of reflect on that. You can do that as a video. That's why I remove, if you kind of scan down to Submit Progress Video Journal page, there is no Progress Video Journal 3. I told you earlier in the semester that we would be doing away with that, because I felt that it was redundant, too much work. So for the Progress Video Journal 3, you're just going to submit your page. You only need 2 PVJs for the semester, Progress Video Journals. And I'm just going to automatically give points for PVJ3, because at this point it's too late and too much. It'll take me 40 minutes to refigure the points, and I'd rather just kind of grade it and fill in points there than mess with that and put them somewhere else, because I don't feel like that's fair to load up other things when you know, I feel like the course plan with the points, weights are kind of a contract in a way, an agreement, so that you get to decide what you're going to do. All right, so we're just going to, you only have to have 2 PVJs. So for the final portfolio in that SWOT, you can do that as a video, or you could do that as a podcast. You don't have to do a typewritten SWOT. Also, if you like concept maps, you could do your SWOT as a concept map. So a lot of people are probably just going to end up typing up stuff, and that may be the easiest thing to do. That's what my example shows. But again, you can do alternative formats if you prefer. I encourage you to do a podcast or a video. I would love to see you sort of use that format one last time. You know, in that final portfolio, for each of the assignments that we've done this semester, you've posted your assignment in the artifact section, for example, on the TechCast page. You posted your artifact, and then under that there was a reflection section that you had set up in the Wiki Foundation assignment, and it is on that reflection section. Make sure you go through all of the assignments that have that format of artifact reflection. Make sure you put a little reflection there about what this particular artifact might mean or how it could be useful to your future position. Those don't have to be super lengthy. Just an honest little reflection of 2 to 5 sentences will be perfectly sufficient. Not all assignments will have a reflection, so like the progress video journals are reflections, so they don't need further reflection about PVJs. The readings page, it doesn't need further reflection. Okay, so if it didn't have that setup of artifact reflection, then you don't have to worry about reflecting on that. Do please go to the front page, to the philosophy, my philosophy of tech integration on the front page of your wiki, and read the instructions there. Make sure you fill out that little section telling me where you're at this point. And I do want to emphasize that this is a journey, like all things that you learn. You know, technology integration, the use of technology in the classroom is just one piece of a very complicated profession, a very complicated role as a teacher. And so I realize that, and I also realize, maybe not all of you realize, but you know, it's going to require constant and updated professional development, some of it initiated by you. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll be in a school district where there's a supportive environment and there's funds and there's maybe innovative ways of thinking, and maybe your administration will help you to get professional development. But it is an ongoing process. This is just what we've done in this class this semester is really just the tip of the iceberg. You are probably, you may be more technologically capable at this point, but you need to keep the pressure on. If you want to maintain your technology skills, you want to keep playing with things and trying to think of ways to use different things, these different tools and other things. Just explore. We've only looked at a few things in this class, and there's a lot more out there. I do want to give you an example, though. My kids are of podcasting. My children are in a play, and this Friday they'll be performing that play at the Carrollton Cultural Arts Center. And we actually used Audacity to record their lines. So what I did was, like, my son Jack, he's 7, and he needs help. So I came in and I'm using technology just to help him with his lines, and my daughter too. She's been using it. I'm going to have to make him sit down and do this. But what I did was we recorded the lines that came before his line and after. So we recorded each of his little pieces of lines that he has to memorize for the play. We've recorded what comes right before and what comes right after, so that he can kind of memorize them as a chunk. And then we exported each one of those as a little short, like we're talking 20-second podcast, maybe, or 30-second. So we exported about 10 of those. And then I put them into iTunes, created a playlist, and then burned them onto a CD, and then they can listen to these on their CD player with their little playbook. And that's just a really simple example of how you can use technology. Just think of ways in your own personal life where you can use it to help yourself do something better, to help you learn something, to make yourself look smart, or whatever it is. You know, you've got to be playing with this in your daily life. And just think about it. My kids are sitting there watching me doing this, and they are learning how to podcast a little bit. They're sort of absorbing those ideas that you can use technology to help you do these things that might otherwise be more challenging. And I don't think that that's sinful. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the fact that now that my son, or my daughter, she's memorized all of her lines this way. She every night before bed, she pops in her CD, listens to her lines, and she knows them all now. So she'll be ready on Friday. I'm not sure about Jack. He needs a little more nudging, And so that also goes to the point that it's not like you can just plop kids down in front of computers and they're going to do what they need to do. Technology is still not going to press play or make people attend to things the way they should. So it's not, anyway, everything in balance, but make sure that you're using and playing with technology in your personal life and you'll stay current. All right, wrapping up in other areas. We've had all semester long, we've had the quiz over the National Educational Technology Standards for Teachers is open, and the quiz on the Georgia Technology Plan. If you haven't taken these yet, you want to take them pretty quickly. The Georgia Technology Plan quiz, that's over a plan that's like 100 pages long. It's a PDF. Make sure you read those instructions, which urge you not to read that whole thing. You need to use the find feature in the PDF to locate the information of the questions that I'm asking you about. I ask you about key points that I think are important for you to be aware of. I don't think you have to memorize the Georgia Tech Plan. I sure don't have it memorized. But I want you to, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. And it's just a way for me to sort of make you more aware of some things in that tech plan, the state of Georgia at the Department of Education level. What is it that they want teachers like you and me to be aware of in our practice? And what do they want schools to be doing to move forward? So I think it's important that you're aware of that. But do not read the whole thing. That's not something you have to do here in week 6 or week 7 of the semester. Just use the Control F features and you'll be done with that quiz in 10 minutes. Okay, so take those 2 quizzes. They're located on the home page of the course, or you can go into the don't go through the assessments button. Go through the home page of the course because that's where the instructions are and it'll make more sense. The TK20 quiz is extra credit, but I urge you to watch it because what it will do is it will give you at least my suggestions for how you can archive your work this semester just in case you were asked to use anything from this class in TK20 in the future. I can't guarantee, right at this moment, TK20 doesn't pull anything from this class. But what if in 6 months somebody says, ooh, they should be pulling artifacts out of 3401? We should have been doing that. That's not a decision I make. That's a decision that's made by the folks who run your program, your particular program. And my class is a service class, so you have to ask the people who run your program, whether it's early childhood or your secondary English or something like that. So that's their decision where those artifacts come from. So all I'm here to do is tell you how I recommend that you save your work from this class. Finally, Oops Dropbox. If you're not going to use it, just submit it empty or type in no thanks and submit it, something like that, and just get it out of your way. And then for extra credit, you can do the extra credit course survey acknowledgement. It's an assessment. You can take it as many times as you need to in order to feel that you understand what you have to do. Okay? So if you get it wrong, if you answer it wrong the first time, you get 0 points. Go back in, reread, see where the misunderstanding is, and retake it. That's not the same thing as doing the course surveys. The surveys are administered not by me, but somebody else through the UWG email. And you've probably gotten multiple notifications about it. They do close probably at the end of this week. So please go ahead and take your course surveys. I'm going to actually use your data from those surveys in a formal study this fall, a needs assessment, looking at how we can improve this class, because probably the biggest challenge with this class is the fact that it's sort of on its own little island. It's not embedded into your methods classes, so it's not embedded into your class on how to teach math or how to teach literacy skills. Each major has its own various classes. It would be better if it were embedded, probably, if your technology skills were. So the challenge is, how do I make it more relevant to people in various majors? So what I'm going to do is a needs assessment this semester, this fall. I'm going to go interview professors. Really, honestly, I'm going to do it for early childhood first. But in early childhood, I'm going to talk to all the professors that represent each of the different sort of content areas, and we're going to try to figure out ways that we can maybe incorporate more technology into the content, into the program, across the program, and ways in which this class can better address your needs, because a lot of stuff is happening in technology right now, and we need to revamp what we're doing here. But so I'm going to use that survey data. I mean, not only is that survey data just used after each semester ends to improve the course and to take suggestions, but I'm actually going to study it and share the results with the Dean of the College of Education, for example. So anyway, please take your survey and let me know how I can help you. I can be in my office all week this week from 2:15 to 4:45 every day. I have it down for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but if you need to see me on Thursday or Friday, just let me know. If you need to see me on Saturday, this coming Saturday, I could probably come up. I live a couple miles from campus, so I could probably come up and see you if you needed to do that. I prefer to do that in the morning or early afternoon because that's when the building is open. I don't really like to be there after the building closes because there's lots of weird sounds. All right, I will stop talking. Okay, bye-bye.